Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today, inshallah, students, we will quickly revise the chapters, okay? From chapter number 1 to chapter number 4. So, you all know the first chapter is an introduction to microeconomics. So, you all know what is economy, correct? What is economy or what is economic system? So an economic system or economy is a mechanism where the scarce resources are channelized or it is mobilized on priority to produce goods and services. Correct? Okay, so economic system or economy is a mechanism where the scarce resources are channelized on priority to produce goods and services. Okay, so this goods and services produced by all the sector of economy determines the national income. Correct? Okay, so in this chapter you also have studied what are the economic problems. Correct? So the problem of choice arises out of the limited resources. You all know, right? Because the resources are limited, the problem of choices arises. Okay, so the main reason for the problem of choice is because of the limited resources and unlimited wants. Okay, so this problem of limited resources and unlimited wants is called as economic problem. Okay, so the problem of choice which arise out of limited resources and unlimited wants is called as economic problems. Okay, so every economy, whether developed or undeveloped, okay, whether it is a mixed economy or whether it is a socialistic economy or if it is a capitalistic economy, they all face this problem, the problem of choice. Okay, so this problem are categorized into three, that is it is called as the three basic economic problems. So what are those? First is what to produce, second is how to produce, and third is for whom to produce. Okay, so what are the three basic economic problems I've told you? First is what to produce, second is how to produce, and third is for whom to produce. Okay, now what to produce? So every country has to decide which goods are to be produced. Okay, so this comes under the first economic problem, that is what to produce. Okay, so every country has to decide which goods are to be produced and in what quantity. Okay, so whether more of gun should be produced or more of food grain should be grown. Okay, whether capital goods has to be produced or whether consumer goods has to produce. So all the country has to decide which good they are going to produce and in what quantity they are going to produce. Okay, and they have to decide whether they have to produce more of consumer goods or more of producer goods, okay, etc. Okay, second is how to produce. Now when I say how to produce, here we talk about the techniques used for the purpose of production. Okay, so techniques of producing a product is discussed here. For example, cotton clothes can be produced either by handloom or powerloom, isn't it? So production of cloth with handloom requires more of laborer, correct? So this is called as labor intensive. Okay, and if the production of cloth is done using the powerloom, it needs more of machines and capital. Okay, so this is called as capital intensive. So the country has to decide like which technique they are going to use for the purpose of production, whether they are going for capital intensive method or labor intensive method. Okay, so this is what we discuss under how to produce. Okay, so as I've told you, there are two types of techniques of production, that is labor intensive technique and capital intensive technique. Now what is labor intensive technique? If more of laborer are used compared to capital or compared to machines, then it is called as labor intensive technique. And if more of capital is used in place of if more of capital is used compared to laborer, then it is called as capital intensive technique. Okay, so this comes under the second economic problem, that is how to produce, and third is for whom to produce. Okay, so another important discussions which an economy has to take in for whom to produce, that is the economy cannot satisfy all wants of all the people, correct? So therefore it has to decide who should get how much of total output of goods and services. Okay, so about whatever I have discussed so far is the basic economic problem. Okay, these are the three basic economic problem of an economy. Okay. So apart from this basic economic problems, there are few other problems that is faced by the economy. That is the problem of economic efficiency. Okay, and the second is the problem of full employment. And third is the problem of economic growth. Now, what is the problem of economic efficiency? So the the efficient utilization of existing resources of an economy has also become a major problem. Okay, we are not able to we are not able to efficiently use the resources what is there in the economy. Okay, so this is also a problem of an economy. So whenever I say efficiently utilization of economic resources, we have to make use, or we have to optimum use of both this natural and resources which is needed to prevent the wastage of this resources. Okay, we have to use, or we have to make efficient use of the natural resources, as well as we should see to it that the natural resources are not wasted, they are fully utilized. Okay, second problem is the problem of full employment. So when I say full employment, means the full employment or full utilization of the resources. Okay, fullest. The full employment means utilization of resources to the fullest extent. Okay, so underutilization of human resources leads to unemployment. Okay, and disguised unemployment, etc. So when you don't use the resources fully, it leads to underemployment. Okay, or underutilization. So when the natural resources are not used to the maximum, there will be a wastage of potentiality of an economy. See, for example, when I say human resources are not used fully, for example, if a capacity of a person is to work for 8 hours, and if he is given a job only for 4 hours, that means the human resources are not fully utilized. Okay, so it comes under the problem of full utilization. Okay, and third problem is the problem of economic growth. So every nation wants to increase its gross domestic product to achieve economic growth, correct? So this in turn improves the standard of living and reduces the poverty. Okay, so this comes under the other economic problem of an economy. Okay, and in this chapter we also have learned the economic system. Okay, what are the three types of economic system? Okay, the first is socialistic planned economy, second is capitalistic economy, and third is mixed economy. Okay, so these are the economic system. So what is socialistic planned economy? Okay, this is also called as centrally planned economy. Okay, centrally planned economy. So a centrally planned economy or a socialistic planned economy is that economy where the economic activities are controlled by the central government. Okay, here the government takes decision about the allocation of resources in accordance with the object to attain economic and social welfare. See, for example, Russia, China and North Korea. Okay, so this is the example for the centrally planned economy or socialistic economy. Okay, so here all the economic activities are controlled by the central government. Okay, second type of economic system is capitalistic economy or market economy. Okay, so this is also called as capitalistic economy or market economy. So what is this capitalistic economy or market economy? A market economy is the economy where the economic decisions are undertaken on the basis of market mechanism by the private enterprise. Okay, here the economic decisions are undertaken on the basis of market mechanism by the private enterprise. Okay, so it functions on demand and supply condition. So they look how this demand and supply work, and on that it is decided. Okay, so some or few example for such economy is USA, Japan, then Australia, UK, etc. Okay, so in market economy, private individuals own the factors of production. Here the profit is the main goal of the business. Okay, So there is least intervention of the government. Sorry, there is least intervention of the government here. Okay. Third is mixed economy. So when I say mixed economy, it is the mixture of both, that is the centrally planned economy and capitalistic economy. So the mixed economy is that economy in which we can see coexistence of both private and public sector enterprise. Okay. So it is the combination of socialistic and capitalistic feature. Okay. And the best example for it is the India. So India is the example for mixed economy. So in mixed economy system, the resources are owned by the government. The resources are owned by both the government and the private individuals. Okay. Here some areas of economic activities are totally governed by government and other sectors are open to the public sector. So the government involves in those activities which promotes maximum social and economic welfare without any profit motive. Okay. And the private sector functions with the intention of maximizing their profit. So here under mixed economy we find dual pricing system. For example, the supply of rice through government fair price shop is lower than compared to the private providing stores or private provision stores. Okay. And under this economy, that is under mixed economy, the government takes the responsibility to run certain essential sectors like railways, then printing of currency notes, then atomic energy, public parks, etc. Okay. Here under mixed economy, the basic problems are solved by both this public and private sectors. Okay. Next part of this chapter is the positive and normative economics. Now, what is positive economics? So, the positive economics is the study of what is. Okay, here we study what is and what is under the given set of circumstance. Okay, so it is concerned with the how the economic perform the basic functions of what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Okay, so it explains how the economy takes decision about consumption, production and exchange of goods. Okay, so what is positive economic? It talks about facts. Okay, for example, when it says India's population is so much crores in this, okay, that's a fact. Okay, it tells you the number and that is the fact. Okay, so positive economic talks about facts. Okay, whereas what is normative economics? The normative economics studies what ought to be, what it should be like. Okay, so for example, it explains about what should be and should not be done. Okay, so when I say India's population is so much, okay, it's a fact. Okay, but when I say to control India's population, such measures has to be taken. Okay, that measures or the discussion or the debate that comes under the normative economics. Here we try to understand whether the mechanism are desirable or not, whether this step has to be taken or not. All this is decided under normative economics. Okay, so the normative economic statements are something called matter of opinion or statement of value. Okay, so this normative economic based on value judgments. Okay, and group decisions. I hope this is clear. So this economics is both positive and normative. Okay, but economics is, as I've told you, economics is both positive and normative science. Okay, so the study of economic involves both scientific investigation and policy analysis. Okay, so economists first use science to explain the world and understand how the economy works. Later, policies are explored for the economic development. Next, deduction method in economics. Now, what is deduction method in economics? See, under this method, the conclusions are drawn from the universal to the individual or from general to the particular. So, this method derives new conclusion from assumption. Okay, this is called as scientific method. Okay, I repeat, under this method, that is the deductive method, in economics. So under this method, the conclusions are drawn from the universe to the individual, or from the general to the particular. So this method derives new conclusion from the assumption, and this is called as scientific method. Next is inductive method. Okay, so inductive method is a process of reasoning from particular to general, or from individual to the universe. Okay, it is the process of reasoning from particular to general, or from individual to the universe. Okay, now what are the things you're going to study in microeconomics? Okay, so microeconomics is the study of economic activities of individual and small group of individuals. Okay, here you're studying the economic activities of an individual agent, of a person, okay, or of a small group of individuals. Or you study the of a particular firm. Here you're studying about one firm, or a particular household, or individual price, or individual wages, then individual industry. Okay, all this you study under microeconomics. Okay, so microeconomics is an important method of economic analysis. Okay, it is both theoretical and practically important. Okay, I hope all this is the things we have covered in our first chapter. Okay, so what is very important here is what are the central problems of an economy, then like what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, and also the production possibility of an economy. Okay, this is very important here, production possibility of economy. Okay, we have studied this already. The collection of all possible combination of goods and services that can be produced from a given amount of resources and a given stock of technical knowledge is called as production possibility of an economy. Okay, next, what is a production possibility frontier? Okay, that is also very important. So what is this production possibility frontier? So the production possibility frontier is a graphical representation of the combination of two commodities that can be produced when the resources of the economy are fully utilized. Okay, so it is the graphical representation of the combination of two commodities that can be produced when the resources of an economy are fully utilized. Okay, so this is called as production possibility curve. Okay, or this is also called as transformation curve. So all this is done. Okay, this is very important. And next, also the subject matters of economics. Okay, like what you study under microeconomics and what you study under macroeconomics. Okay, so I have told you what you study under microeconomics. You study about individual economic agent in the market of different goods and services, and how price and quantity of goods and services determined through market force. And what do you study under macroeconomics? Here we try to understand the economy as a whole, okay, by focusing our attention on aggregate measures like the total output, then employment, then aggregate price level. Okay, here you study about, or you study the issues like what is the level of total output in the economy, how is total output determines are the resources of the economy employed, etc. Okay, so okay, and then the distinguish or the difference between the centrally planned economy and market economy is also very important. And also, what do you understand by positive economic analysis, and what do you understand by normative economic analysis? And then what is the difference between microeconomic and macroeconomy? All this is very important, okay, under this. Okay, next, moving on to the next chapter, that is the theory of consumer behavior. Okay, so under consumer behavior, you all know we study the behavior of an consumer. Okay, you all know consumer always behave rationally and tries to make use of his money income to get maximum satisfaction. Correct? So this we study under theory of consumer behavior. Okay, and he decide, like here the consumer decides with his limited income like what to purchase more and what not to purchase more. Okay, like he decides to consume more of one goods and less of the other goods with the limited income. Okay, under this chapter we have studied the budget set and budget line, correct? This is very important. Now what is budget set? The budget set is the collection of products that the consumer can buy with his income at a prevailing market price. Okay, so it is the collection of products. It is a set. Okay, the budget set is the collection of product that the consumer can buy with his income at a prevailing market price. Okay, so this budget set is also known as opportunity set. See, for example, if you have 10 rupees, with this 10 rupees, what are the things you can buy is called as the budget set. For example, if you want to buy chocolate and biscuit, if the chocolate cost rupees 2 and biscuit cost rupees 5, so how much of chocolate you can buy? You can buy 2 chocolate and 1 biscuit, correct? Or you can buy only 2 packets of biscuit. So this is the budget set. So budget set explains, or it is a collection of product that a consumer can buy with his income at a prevailing market price. Okay, next is budget line. Now what is budget line? Budget line is a graphical representation of all possible combination of 2 goods which cost exactly equal to the income of the consumer. Okay, so budget line is a graphical presentation of all possible combinations. So same, I have told you the combination here: 2 chocolate, 1 biscuit, or 2 packets of biscuit. So this is the combination, or all the possible combination of 2 goods which cost exactly equal to his income of the consumer. Okay, which cost exactly equal to the income of the consumer. Okay, so it is the location of different combination of 2 goods which the consumer consumes and whose price is exactly equal to the consumer's income. Okay, so you all know, we all have studied the features of or the properties of a budget line. So the budget line PQ slopes downwards from left to right, indicating that more of one product purchased by reducing the other product. To produce more of one product, you have to reduce the purchasing of other product. Okay, second feature is the combination of product which are equal to consumer's income lies on budget line. Third is the combination of those price, or the combination of whose price is less than consumer income lies below the budget line. And next is the combination of goods whose price is more than the consumer's income lies above the budget line. Okay, so these are the features of budget line. Next, you all know the slope of budget line. Okay, the slope of a curve is calculated as a change in the variable on the vertical y-axis divided by change in the variable on the horizontal of x-axis. That is, slope of budget line is equal to units of any product. For example, if you're taking the example of banana and mango, unit of banana willing to sacrifice divided by unit of mango willing to gain. So if you have to gain something, you have to sacrifice something, isn't it? Okay, so unit of banana willing to sacrifice divided by unit of mango willing to gain. So this is the slope of budget line. Okay, now what is price ratio? This also you have studied here. Price ratio refers to the price of goods on the x-axis divided by the price of goods on the y-axis. Okay, next you also have studied the shift in budget line. The shift in budget line takes place if there is change in the income of consumer or the price of the product. Okay, so the budget line shifts because of 2 reasons. One is when there is change in the income of the consumer, or when the price of the product changes. Okay, next you also have studied the effects of change in income of the consumer. So when or with a change of income of consumer, the budget line shifts to the right or to the left of the origin budget line. So when there is increase in the income, okay, when the consumer's income increase, the budget line shifts towards the right. Okay, and when there is decrease in the income of the consumer, the budget line shifts towards the left. Okay, these are the things that you have to remember. Okay, then you also have studied the indifference curve. Now what is indifference curve? An indifference curve is the locus of all those points representing various combination of two goods giving the same satisfaction to the consumer. Okay, so in simple words, indifference curve is the combination, or it is those curve which represents the various combination of two goods which gives the consumer same satisfaction. Okay, so an individual curve is a schedule of various combination of goods which will be equally satisfied to the consumer concerned. Okay, now what is indifference schedule? So an indifference schedule is a table, okay, which represents the various combination of goods which gives equal satisfaction to the consumer. Okay, so this is the indifference schedule. So you all know what is indifference curve. Indifference curve is it represents the combination of two goods which gives consumer same satisfaction. Okay, what is indifference schedule? It is a table representing a table representing the various combination of goods which gives equal satisfaction to the consumer. Next is indifference map. Okay, now what is indifference map? It refers to a set of indifference curve of two combinations showing different level of satisfaction. Okay, so it is the family of indifference curve. Okay, indifference map is the family of indifference curve because it shows you the set of indifference curve, okay, of two commodities which gives consumer equal satisfaction. Okay, so if the individual curve is on the higher level, the higher indifference curve shows the higher level of satisfaction, and the lower indifference curve represents the lower satisfaction. And a rational consumer will always choose more of the product, okay, and he will always choose the product which lies on the higher indifference curve because it gives him more satisfaction, and that curve consists of more units of goods. Okay, since the consumer is a rational person and he always prefer monotonic preference, his preference is always monotonic, he always want more of all the goods, isn't it? So he always will prefer the goods that lies, or the bundle that lies on the higher level of indifference curve. Okay, next we also have studied the properties of indifference curve. So what are the properties? Higher indifference curve represents higher level of satisfaction. Second is indifferent curves must slope from downward. Okay, it should slope from left downward to the right. Okay, so this is the properties of indifference curve. Okay, second is indifferent curve must slope from left to right. It should be downward sloping from left to right. Third is indifference curve do not intersect. Okay, fourth is indifference curve are convex to the origin. Fourth is the indifference curve cannot be vertical or horizontal line. Next, indifference curve cannot be concave to the origin, and last is indifference curve cannot be positively sloped. Okay, sorry, there are three more. Indifference curve cannot be a parallel. Okay, it cannot be parallel. Third is the next is the indifference curve do not touch the horizontal or the vertical axis, and indifference curve have this is all about the indifference curve property. Okay, next you all know, we all have studied what is utility, what is consumer's equilibrium. So what is utility? Utility refers to the want satisfying power of the commodity or a service. Okay, it refers to the want satisfying power of a commodity or a service. And under that you have studied the law of diminishing marginal utility, okay, which was given by Professor Alfred Marshall. Okay, now we will see what are the features of utility. First feature is utility is different from satisfaction. Second is utility is not usefulness always. Third is utility does not speak about moral principles, and fourth is utility is subjective. Okay,